Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnet Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet Dale, and welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast with two queer trans women. That's us, the wifey ones.
That is us, we're the wifey ones.
And we talk about stuff, what we done in the week.
What we did done.
What we did in the week. How are you doing today?
I'm sore of throat, but I've been talking more than usually.
Yeah, you've been taking some of this week to work on a certain audiobook.
A certain audiobook.
That finally gets to exist in the world.
Indeed. I am 103 pages into that book. Yes, I built a little recording booth out of a dressing screen and some blankets.
It's quite a vocal exercise to read a book out loud.
Yes, because I can't just slur through things. I actually have to enunciate letters.
Yes. You've been doing this has reminded me of doing the Gender Euphoria one like a year and a half ago. I recorded, I believe, all of that in 2 days. I sure didn't feel like talking after that for a few days.
I'm 2 days in. I've recorded a few hours of this so far. I think I'm up to chapter 6. I think I'm about to start chapter 6.
Ooh.
Yes, it's certainly going well. It's weird. Like, I had no plans to change the way I speak, and literally I got in front of the microphone and I was enunciating real hard.
Yes, it's the knowledge that you are creating such a permanent piece of people will listen to this.
Yes.
It's like, I have to say every word very precisely now.
I do hate myself for every piece of alliteration in that story, though.
Yes.
They're constantly like, this sentence is too long, this sentence is too rhymy.
Yeah. The things you discover when reading your work out loud about it.
Not only reading it out loud, but reading it out loud and in an intentional way, rather than when we were reading it through the drafts, and we between us we read through the whole thing at incredible speed in about 2 or 3 hours.
It's a very different thing to read it out loud to go, is there a missing word in this sentence?
Yes.
And I'll catch it that way, versus I have to take my time and put some deliberate emphasis into how I'm saying the words. I have to make the sentence sort of feel like it has a rhythm and a run to it.
Finding sentences that are incredibly long and having to put extra pauses in them because it's impossible to say.
Yeah. Or working out where naturally to sneak a breath in. Yeah, it's an experience.
Well, I mean, after that, we've still got to record all of the extra lines, because at the moment I'm recording Avery and the narration of Avery.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there.
Yes, but we between us, we will sit down and do Rick and Chad at some point. And then other voices will be added.
That is the plan / hope, is to have some extra voices in there doing some things which would be cool.
Yeah. I'm realising we're going to have to go through the text again and drag out all of the individual conversations.
Yeah. So it's a lot of work doing an audiobook.
It is.
But we've done some other stuff that wasn't working on an audiobook this week.
It's true, we played some things.
Yeah, what have you been playing this week?
I restarted playing Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah, you did. How's that been
I haven't
going?
played since release.
I've definitely played it a little more recently.
I remember almost nothing about this, apart from the shape of the characters and that sort of thing. I'd forgotten how much of a pain in the arse Steiner was.
Yeah.
I played this at a really weird time in my life. There was some brief homelessness, there was some moving around, there was some unfortunate people involved in my life at that time, and it was just before things started to get a little bit more stable generally, but also there was a lot of chaos and a lot of alcohol at the time, which wasn't doing me any good. And I remember finishing it. Basically, I'd started playing it the same day as the person who I'd basically sat down and co-played Final Fantasy VIII with. We were both playing it on separate consoles, kind of in the same house most of the time. And with Final Fantasy IX, we were again sort of playing it in that same sort of. We started around the same time. We would occasionally swap strategies, and then he just got really upset that I finished it.
Oh no!
I was like, well, you've just spoiled it. Why? I haven't told you anything about what happened. I haven't told you about like anything specifically apart from to say things have been cool. Some of the CG films were cool. Things like that. Like some of the cutscenes were very good. Like I've said nothing. You've just got upset that I finished it before you for some reason, which feels weird. But yeah, I vaguely remembered the character of Kuja. I was surprised that he didn't come in until seemingly quite late. Because I'm playing the PC version, which has all of the boost stuff on it.
Yeah, you
Doesn't
can
have the same boost stuff as Final Fantasy VIII, which is weird.
But enough stuff there to help make it a slightly quicker experience.
Yes, like I've only just got to a point now where the fights are sometimes taking more than one hit to kill an enemy. But yeah, it does feel like it's speeding things up, which is great for me. It means I'm playing it and remembering what the fucking plot is, rather than going, I've been at this so long, I've forgotten what the fuck anything is.
I spent so long level grinding that I forgot what I was up to.
Yes. A lot of that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm terrible at the fucking card game in this. I feel like maybe I didn't play a lot of this originally. The other thing I've remembered about Final Fantasy IX that wasn't such a big thing in 7 and 8 was the fact that just about everything is fucking hidden. Constantly, it's worth like walking around every little nook and corner of a room because there's bound to be another fucking chest there, and there always is. So it never gets any less like grueling to just be like, okay, I walked in a room, I must check every single fucking corner. Oh no, I accidentally left the room. Back in there and make sure you check. Okay, cool. Go to the next area. Do exactly the same thing. And yeah, it's excruciating how it's just like, oh yeah, there's a chest. Oh, it could be something important, or it could just be a potion. Yeah, but like the graphics are nice. The character stuff is nice. Nice again to have nice to have 4 characters to play in a group, or up to 4 characters, I should say. I'm about 8.5 hours in. I've got as far as Garnet returning to Alexandria and being captured by Zorn and Thorn. So I'm around that point for anyone who knows roughly where that is. And again, because I'm playing on the PC version, I don't really know where the disc swaps are. I'm either near one or I've already passed the first one. What about you? What have you been playing?
I've mostly been playing Hollow Knight Silksong in terms of stuff I can talk about that I've been playing.
Hollow Knight Silksong, that?
Yeah, that video game actually exists and is reviewing pretty well. I am mostly aware of its review scores because I have it in Fantasy Critic, and it's no longer a perfect 100, where I was getting full marks on it. But it's still in the mid to high 90s, so that's worked out well for me on Fantasy Critic.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, Hollow Knight Silksong sure is more Hollow Knight. If you didn't get on with Hollow Knight, this probably isn't going to change your opinion overwhelmingly.
Which is why I have not picked it up.
Yeah. So, it is a very challenging platformer / boss fight heavy Metroidvania. You are playing as a new character called Hornet, who does have a pretty different moveset. The big things, it feels like you are sort of more agile and quick to move around. It's very apparent this started life as DLC for Hollow Knight before becoming its own thing, because a lot of the game balance feels balanced around being a DLC you would have played as post-game for Hollow Knight.
Right.
In that it is definitely more difficult to play, where almost exclusively bosses in Hollow Knight dealt one chunk of damage at a time. Right from the first area, there are bosses that deal 2 chunks of damage, deal twice as much damage on hits.
And do you start the game with sort of end of Hollow Knight levels of hell?
Roughly start of Hollow Knight levels of hell. And some of the starting moveset tools, while useful and effective, and I do think they give you additional flexibility, are harder to get to grips with initially. A good example of this is in Hollow Knight. If you do a down attack, you would go straight down and attack below you. You'd sort of...
Yeah, like your Shovel Knight type attack.
Yeah. In Silksong, the default one of those you have is you pretty much always go diagonally 45 degrees down.
Yes.
Which, for platforming where you're trying to bounce across things that you need to down attack on, requires very accurate moving between places where you can do 45-degree angles to hit things. Which...
Yeah, I saw someone trying to do a skill jump thing where there were 3 of those red ball things.
Yeah.
And trying to do because it's bounce dash dash. And this I watched this person do probably about 50 runs at it, just getting progressively more and more angry at themselves.
Yeah.
For the inability to get this combination of down jumps and dashes.
In Act 1, there is an entire area whose whole gimmick is navigating those.
Fuck that.
And I went through the phase of getting frustrated with them, and I came out the other end of that area infinitely more skilled at that ability, and I'm pretty good at it now. But I only got good at it by really putting myself through the ringer. But I do think that that change in mechanics is ultimately for the better. It does give you more flexibility in combat, but it's a steep curve to get there. It is undoubtedly a very beautiful Metroidvania with some delightful character design and excessive amounts of enemy variety and item variety and voiced little songs that the characters do, and you can feel that they spent years putting infinite amounts of stuff in here. It is an excessive game in terms of being full to the brim with beautifully made content.
They had 12 years, or whatever it was.
I believe 8 years, I think. I will say I'm getting to the point in Act 1 where I'm starting to see more of the mechanics that are new to Silksong, and they're taking a little getting used to. So I'm going to talk about one mechanical thing from Act 1. Skip ahead a little bit if you don't want to know anything about Silksong's first act. You can unlock crests that completely fundamentally change your moveset.
Okay.
And I was a little overwhelmed when I discovered that, because 2 things. One, it changes how the down slash attack works. It's no longer the 45-degree angle down attack I learnt. It now lunges sideways and then goes down. And those bouncing on the red thing sections, I have to learn. If I want to use that crest, I'm going to have to learn a whole new down slash movement, which put me off initially trying to learn that crest's moveset. And secondly, different crests can have different... each crest starts with a number of slots unlocked on it, and slots are different colours and can have different things equipped in them. And you can unlock more slots to be able to put different things on a crest.
Right.
This second crest doesn't have any yellow slots on it by default until you can unlock some, which means I can't equip my compass, which shows me where I am on the map. So I started trying to navigate with this new moveset, and there was no longer an icon for me on the map.
No.
Meaning that I was trying to navigate a Metroidvania where it wasn't showing me where on the map I was. And
I hated that about the original.
Very quickly I gave up on using that new crest, despite its really cool new attack system that I really want to get to grips with, because I was not ready for a new down attack and not being able to instantly have my compass on.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure that's going to be a really cool tool in my toolset when I get to grips with it, and when I unlock enough on the crest so that I can have my compass thing back. But right now, I've just gotten to... It's cool that there's more options, and I'm not forced to use this new thing, but I just got to grips with one moveset, and you're like, here's an incredibly fucking different moveset that's going to lock you out of some of the stuff you're relying on for a little bit. And I'm like, I'm not ready for that.
No.
That's a little beyond me at this moment.
And this is all taking into account the fact that initially when you first started playing this, you quote-unquote went the wrong way and ended up completely, like, away from all of the starter stuff?
Apparently, I've still yet to see this starter stuff I allegedly went past.
Right.
I've gone back looking, and I've yet to find any clear signs as to what I was supposed to have found earlier on. I don't
Despite
know.
having played some of this on stream now.
Yeah. I got lost for a while. I wasn't sure where to go. I found a new direction to go, and it kicked my ass, so I stopped playing for the moment. I'm in no rush to play through Silksong. I'm going to chip away at it a little at a time until I either beat it or something else comes along that I have to play for work, and I admit that I won't get back to it. One of those will inevitably happen, and then maybe like 3 years down the line, I'll have like a month of no big work deadlines, and I'll start from the beginning and I'll actually get through it. We'll see. I'm having a great time, even if I feel overwhelmed by the scale of this thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Silksong.
Hoorah.
What about you? You been playing anything else this
That's
week?
it for me.
I've been playing one other thing. I've gone back to playing Pokemon Sword and Shield.
You have?
Because I realised there's a couple of shinies that I still don't have that I've been working on trying to get in Ultra Sun and Moon, and I realised I could also get them in Sword and Shield through a shiny hunting method I didn't really put a lot of time into.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what, maybe this is my excuse to give that shiny hunting method a go, which is something from the second DLC... Second DLC? I think it was the second DLC, called Dynamax Adventures, where basically you do a series of raid battles back to back, either with other players or with NPC computer players with you. And you've got to beat like 4... You've got to like choose a branching path where you can get a hint at roughly what Pokemon you might fight if you take certain paths, based on what type is visible in a cloud, and maybe you see a little bit of a silhouette. If you beat that Pokemon, you get a chance to catch it, and you can use that Pokemon to continue on in this series of raids. You don't start with one of your own Pokemon, you start with a randomly selected one, and you're like trying to build a team that will help for whatever legendary is at the end of these 4 encounters. And there'll be a legendary at the end that'll either be random, or if you've found one previously that you want to try and get again, you can tell it, like, I want to go for that legendary. And that legendary will then have a 1 in 100 chance of being shiny, which is a pretty high shiny odds.
Yeah.
But you don't know if it's shiny until you have done, like, the 4 battles trying to get a good team to hopefully have a set of Pokemon at the end that are strong enough to beat the legendary. And after beating it, you find out if it was shiny. So you have to successfully get through 4 battles, get a good Pokemon, beat the legendary roughly 100 times. So it's not like if this was soft resetting, I could just stand in front of the Pokemon, see if it's shiny, reset the game, see if it's shiny, reset the game 100 times. That would be a very quick shiny hunt.
Indeed.
This should still relatively be a speedy-ish way to do the shiny hunt. I've yet to find the shiny legendary that I am looking for, or Ultra Beast, I guess. Guzzlord. I know, it's a ridiculous name. I found 3 shinies so far while looking for it, so statistically I gotta be getting there. But yeah, that's a thing I've been playing. And that's it for me, I think, for stuff I've played.
Well then,
time for this.
These stylish spectacle frames know where they belong. They're most content at home. But if they should become separated from you, or put down somewhere unusual, they'll start to wail like a lost toddler at the shopping mall, so you can find them in a hurry. Never misplace your single vision, bifocal or varifocal glasses again with Homesick Frames. Homesick Frames, where you'll find the right frames for you and never lose them again. Hey Laura.
Yeah?
We've got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you sometimes order a package?
I do sometimes order a package.
And then you get like, hey, your package is out for delivery.
At some point today, I guess it's coming.
It's coming today.
If I'm lucky, it might be like it's coming in this 4 hours.
Needs a signature.
Don't dare miss it. This 4 hours.
Don't you dare miss it, because there's no collection points anywhere
Ooh.
within an 80-mile radius.
There's gotta be a better way.
That's where PrecisionDelivery.lol.net comes in. Our courier firm costs a little extra, but it will give you accurate to-the-second delivery time info. Because you can't put a price on not being made to anxiously wait listening to the door for 2 hours.
Can they go any more precise? Can we go to the femtosecond or
Thanks, Precision Delivery. You've really helped. Ish.
I suppose that's precise enough.
So, what have you put in your eyes or ears?
We watched a film together.
We did.
We did a short quips last week so we could go watch this
We
film.
did.
What did you think of The Toxic Avenger?
The Toxic Avenger 40th Anniversary Uncut.
Yeah.
It was not what I expected.
Yeah.
But what I should have expected was if Troma had modern budget and all of the old sensibilities. Yeah, it sure is a modern retelling of that story.
It's a modern retelling of the Toxic Avenger story that feels like it really well captures the spirit of old Troma. Didn't feel like it made too many concessions to be mass marketable.
No.
And didn't fall into, like, what I always fear when you bring a thing like this with cult status to the modern day, is I fear that they're gonna use it as an excuse to put, like, really edgy right-wing jokes in it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, it largely, I think, did a very good job of staying away from that.
Yeah, there were a couple of moments where we were like, is there about to be something really unfortunate here?
There was a moment where I explicitly expected it to go in a really transphobic direction, and no, where it actually went was hey, right-wing incel white men are pretty terrible, right? Wouldn't it be great to see some incels murdered?
While having that character dressed like you would have expected exactly the same sort of character to have been, like, portrayed in, like, the 80s as this sort of, like, communist, Fidel Castro t-shirt wearing, smoking poet kid who's learnt just enough to, like, become edgy and think he's radicalized, but also being a dick about it.
I think I said this on the walk home from watching it. It reminded me of that idea of the man who was gone to just enough therapy to weaponize therapy language.
Yes, and I countered with the kind of right-winger who hides the fact that they're a right-winger and knows just enough, like, socialist talking points to try and, like, lull certain women into bed because they know that right-wingers just aren't popular.
That film really just looked at the camera and went, this man is complaining, he's threatening people's lives because the burger restaurant doesn't have tits on the mascot anymore. Oh, sorry. Doesn't have a penis anymore, has tits on the mascot now.
The estrogenization of America.
Right, wouldn't you like to see the bloody murder of a man who says the estrogenization of America? And yeah, I did enjoy watching that.
Yeah, I did enjoy it.
Was quite good watching Toxie do his thing there.
Yeah.
It was very sweet.
Yes.
It was sweet, it was fun. I very much enjoyed getting to watch Elijah Woods play What If Frodo had succumbed to the One Ring.
It really did have those shots of if Frodo had fallen to the ring.
Yeah.
Right? Crossed with the penguin.
Yes.
And now I kind of really want to see Elijah Wood play the penguin.
He would play a really good penguin, I think. Yeah, some beautiful Bucket of Blood moments.
Yes, it was real Gua concert by the end.
That big last one is fucking beautiful.
It was funny. There were like 6 people in the cinema, including us, which is weird because it said it had sold out months ago. Which is why we got the tickets we did. But yeah, it was perfectly that level of. And then someone's fucking head explodes.
Yeah.
And, like, we're just gonna throw buckets of blood at the camera or from off stage and, like, across people's faces. And it's just gonna turn into a complete ridiculous, over-the-top B-movie bloodbath, which is what I always used to love when I collected trauma films many years ago.
It was everything I could have hoped it would be. It was a great time. I am so glad we took the evening to go see it.
Same.
Yeah.
Have you watched anything else or listened to anything else?
I've watched another thing that I thought was real interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I went and saw a preview screening of The Long Walk.
Oh, the Mark Hamill on a tank.
Yeah, Mark Hamill angry shouting on a tank. Yeah, so this is based on a Stephen King book.
A short story.
A short story about a near-future dystopian world in which basically 18-ish-year-old men are given the promise of one man from every state in the US will start walking, and you keep walking, you don't stop for anything, you don't sleep, you do not stop walking.
You don't walk slower than 3 miles an hour.
Yep, and whichever one of you is left at the end gets untold riches and whatever you wish for. It's very, it feels like it's aiming to capture a male audience watching something with the vibes of, like, the Hunger Games, in that it is very much about, like, the spectacle of a world that has gone so south that they will watch people work themselves to death and put themselves on the line of death.
Americans happy to watch people work themselves to death. What?
Right? For a chance at escaping poverty, and will see that as either entertainment or aspirational, rather than the clear sign of dystopia that it is.
Yeah.
And it really struck me watching this, how this is one of the best examples I've seen in years of this film cannot have been that expensive to make, because it is largely just a group of people and a couple of armoured cars walking down a road.
Yeah.
And walking down a series of roads.
Yeah.
But it is simultaneously one of the most gripping films I've ever seen. Seriously, this is shot really high up on films that I would rave about. It is a very good critique of the current direction of global fascism, of the destructive nature of pull yourself up by your bootstraps ideology, and how it encourages people under capitalism to work themselves literally to death for an essentially unattainable dream of escaping their class position. It is unapologetically left-wing in its politics. It does not shy away from which side of the political spectrum it is being critical of. But more than that, it is a film about men processing how ultimately the only route out of fascism is going to have to involve men not being how they are right now. That the kind of fear that things are being taken away from you as men, and like this angry
estrogenization of America.
The estrogenization of America is required right now. I think this film makes a pretty good argument for it. It is a film about the fact that the current way that male society is really leaned towards, don't rely on other people for support, don't be open about your feelings,
don't gather together, don't unionize.
See everyone else as a threat.
Rugged individualism.
Be angry and violent and physically fit and engage with the military and capitalism, and that will be your salvation.
Ooh, Menchie.
Right? That is not a sustainable way to get out of the problems that you are facing.
No.
It is a film that really, really tugged at my heart. For a film that starts with such a big ensemble cast, they really made every time a death happened feel really impactful. Be it one that was a character you knew well or that you didn't, that was built up to or was sudden. They really did a great job of making the pace of death unpredictable. In the way that feels very reflective of life. You never know when it is coming, and it will often not feel fair. they did a great job of making me feel for even the most hateable characters by the end. Not in a way where I think that the terrible things they did were okay, but in a way where by the end there are some terrible characters who had moments of, you're a terrible person and I know that the way you're acting is only because you are facing death down the barrel, but a little shred of humanity, like, even if you wouldn't have had humanity for others, I feel it for you. And that kind of eliciting of feelings of solidarity and empathy for even the worst people trapped in a terrible system is very impressive. I think it is a fantastic film. There was... I don't know a better paced film that I've seen in the last few years. It is a film where there was no... I simultaneously want to say there was no downtime. There was no point where it felt like the film wasn't marching onwards, as it were.
Well, I guess if they're not allowed to stop walking for sleep or anything,
Right?
you don't have those moments of... And then they all bedded down for the night and had a nice little...
No, but even then, like, so much of the film is what in any other film would be the downtime beats. It's just having conversations that are not necessarily conversations progressing the plot.
Yeah.
If this was a film with female characters, people would probably reference the Bechdel test, in as much as it is a film filled with conversations that are not plot-advancing conversations, but are just conversations for characters to bond.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
What I meant, though, was you're never going to have those wind-down moments at the end at the end of a day, a fade to black, the next day, the next scene happens.
I mean, there are cuts.
Yeah.
But the knowledge that they never stop, even when they're literally falling asleep on their feet, they never stop walking.
Yeah, it's more of a time passes, the same thing is happening.
Yeah. And that capturing of, you missed some time, but what did you miss? Probably walking, is very effective. Mark Hamill, it's not his first rodeo playing a villain, but he's so good at playing hateable villains.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, The Long Walk's real good. That is a film I would see again. I thought it was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you put in your eyes this week?
I watched Mad God, a film that has been on my radar for a little while, because I have watched most of the other things that I am aware of that this creator has built puppets and stop motion stuff for.
Oh, this,
So this is created by Phil Tippett, or rather, at this point, Tippett Studio. It's a stop-motion animation telling the story of a world that is experiencing the wrath of God, basically. There is... I mean, it doesn't have any, speech in it. Like, the closest you get to speech are... like baby babbling sounds, things like that. Like, there's nothing directly, like, there's no direct conversations, there's no, like, written stuff that makes you know, oh yeah, that's what's happening here. It starts out as there is this, soldier-looking character who has, like a gas mask type thing on, and, like, a helmet on, and a big heavy coat, in this canister thing being lowered down on a wire. And going down and down and down and down and down into the world, and passing just all this incredibly detailed stuff. It's like those animes that have just got, please stop looking terrified, I know how big the blue lines are.
Okay, sorry.
It's like those animes, like, that just incredibly over-detailed, and just keep going on and on and on. Like, it's, it is wildly complicated visually. Like, there's so much detail going on, be it, like, weathering, or dirt, or hundreds of, like, little spikes coming out of a wall or something, or the way things connect together.
The kind of design that you generally don't do because it's expensive as fuck to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. This is the film that took 12 years to make.
Yeah.
Or technically, you could put it that it took 30 plus years to make, because Phil Tippett, like, had this idea sometime around the end of the 80s. Originally filmed, like, 3 minutes of footage on 35mm film, put it together into like a 10-minute thing with a bunch of storyboards and never actually finished it. And it wasn't until a little while ago now that he was archiving it. Some other people from the studio were like, what this?
Yeah.
What weird Czechoslovakian film have you found?
What thing did you find on the dark web that looks interesting?
Yeah, and he explained the whole thing, and they were like, I'd be interested in doing that.
I can help you do this.
It's a lot of people who kind of missed the boat on getting to do that kind of animation because most of it now is like 3D rendered.
Yeah.
You don't get an opportunity to just go, oh yeah, we spent like months building this set, and like here's like this bit and that bit, and it's all like comped together in different ways, and
yeah,
like by the end of it, it was like a project for like all of the people involved, because while there was like ideas for where things needed to go, it wasn't necessarily okay, it needs to be exactly this. It was a lot of, let's just put a thing together and we'll film it, and if it looks right and it goes with it, we'll just put it in.
Yeah, explore where the idea takes you.
It's incredible looking at some of the raw footage as well, because you can see some of it on YouTube, of this is what it all looked like before. Some of it is slightly wonky colours, some of it looks a bit weird, but by the time it's all been graded, it really all blends together really nicely.
Yeah.
And it's just an incredible piece of art that's gross and messy and dirty and weird, and it feels like the kind of thing my messy housemate would have watched like a decade ago on a Sunday afternoon, coming home after a rave and finishing off the leftovers.
Yeah.
To put it as calmly and quietly as possible. It is the kind of thing, like, it was a time when we were watching things like Egon and Donkey, another film with basically no speech in it. I think someone says hello in that whole film. But, like, just weird things to sit and stare at while you're kind of messy.
Yeah.
After a whole weekend of being messy. And, yeah, it's weird and dark and engaging, and the fact that it has no words in it, but is so visually stimulating, it's hard. You absolutely cannot second screen this film. You have to pay attention to it, because there's so much going on, and so much of it is just conveyed quite silently.
Yeah.
Or with only like little sound effects. Yes, thoroughly recommend that. It's available on Shudder, I believe. Ooh. What else? Have you watched or listened to anything else?
We finished watching season 8.
7 or 8, yeah.
The one that Clara... We finally got rid of Clara.
We finally got rid of Clara.
Clara's gone from Doctor Who. We finished whichever Capaldi season Clara leaves in.
Yes,
which I assumed was Capaldi's last, but apparently not.
No, because I remembered Matt Lucas existing at some point.
I do not remember it. I think this is where I dropped off.
I think this is where I dropped off as well.
I think I entirely skipped Matt Lucas and came back when Jodie Whittaker appeared.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited for a new season of Doctor Who, brackets, unfortunately, with Matt Lucas.
Brackets, a terrible season of Doctor Who.
Well, I don't know. I didn't watch it. It might have been good for all I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, I'm not hopeful, but...
No. We had all the stuff with the Shielder.
So this most recent season we watched, Ishilda, I think, is great. The actress who plays...
Is it Ariana Starr?
I believe so. One of the Game of Thrones actors.
The little one from Game of Thrones.
About 2 years before she was in Game of Thrones, she's a recurring character in this season of Doctor Who. She fucking acts circles around most people in this season.
Yes.
She fucking brings her A game to every episode she's in.
She's very young, but plays timeless immortal very well.
Yeah, she does. There is a lot I like about Capaldi in this season.
Yes.
I think he has some great episodes.
Yes.
The one with the return of the Zygons?
Yes, we got the 2 parts with the Zygons.
And the whole...
And the Osgoods.
His whole anti-war speech of, like, I have boiled war down to a button that's either going to have a lot of your people die or a lot of their people die. That is what war is. You don't like to think of it that way, but that's what it is. Go. That fucking great.
Yeah.
The
The prison episode?
The prison episode is amazing.
Yes.
For anyone who's not seen it, the one where the Doctor is stuck in a prison that involves a crystal wall.
Yes.
One of the best episodes of Doctor Who ever made.
Mm-hmm.
I said this to you when watching it. I think it's old enough to talk a little bit about the concept of that episode. It involves the revelation the Doctor has been stuck in a loop for an incredibly long time.
At least 7,000 years by the time we arrive.
Yeah, by the end of it, we're talking 4.5 billion. I think a less confident show would have had that revelation come a lot later in the episode, that he was in a loop, and would have really shortened the amount of escaping the loop we saw. I think the fact that nearly a third of the episode is the despair of infinitely repeating events as he tries to do the impossible at his own torture to escape, fucking brilliant. One of the hardest watches anywhere in Doctor Who.
Oh, yes.
But a great example of horror you can do in a family-friendly show.
Yes.
Because it's so conceptual rather than violence being shown.
One thing I will say about this series is that it's further nailing home a thing I've really noticed on this rewatch, that whenever there is a character of colour, usually a male character of colour, the Doctor is a dick to them.
Oh, yeah, we've
like we had Nikki, we had Danny Pink.
Yeah.
Oh god, what's his name? Begins with an R. The kid, the graffiti kid. Who was cleaning up. Like he's always got like nicknames, like derogatory nicknames for them. It's like, come on, Moffat. Can you just let there be a character of colour without, like, the Doctor immediately being like...
I commented on this really early in this season. Was it this season or the previous one with when Danny Pink was first showing up? Because the moment I really noticed it was when that episode where the Doctor comes to Clara's school.
And he starts calling him PE.
Yeah, he keeps referring to him as PE. And it... Because, like, I don't know how intentional this was, but the way that it reads is... I have assumed that you, black man, are teaching athletics and not teaching an educational subject.
Yes, and I realise the whole point there is supposed to be because he knows you're a soldier, he's being derogatory.
Yeah,
but because you've chosen a mixed-race actor, it just comes across as the Doctor being like, black people could never maths.
Yeah, could never maths, must do athletics.
Yeah.
It really feels racist.
Yes.
And... Again, if it was just Danny Pink, you could maybe brush that aside. And then, as you say, like, the nicknames and the not taking seriously of, repeatedly black male characters.
Yes.
It's only them he gives nicknames to, it's only them that he, like, actively refuses to remember things about. In a way that feels incredibly pointed.
General Runaway is also black.
Yeah, General Runaway. Because, like, again, General Runaway, that is... I can almost forgive that again because this is the most anti-war Doctor and he is face-to-face with a military man in the process of... Pardon?
That was Matt Smith.
Oh, you're right, that was Matt Smith. But yeah, no, it's really unfortunate how frequently it feels like a very pointed thing that mostly affects black men.
Yeah, it's easier to see when you're watching them all in quite close proximity. But, it's like, come on, Moffat. Can you stop writing shit like this? It's not cool.
I will say for Clara's departure, I don't hate the storyline they do with Clara's final episode. What I hate is that it's Clara.
Yeah.
And I say this in as much as
She's already been the most special thing in all of everything.
Well, this is it. Like the final episode Clara gets really relies on it being believable that this companion, above any other companion the Doctor has ever had, is the most special, most important companion he's ever had, that he cares about the most he's ever cared about a companion.
Yeah.
And I just don't buy that, despite the fact that this is the third bloody storyline we've had about Clara being the most important character in the Doctor's life, who is the secret reason he survived everything he ever survived, and the most special, most important, the Doctor would do the most anything for her. I just don't believe it. And it feels cheap for her to have this many back-to-back she's the most important person in the Doctor's life storylines, while having this little chemistry with him.
Somebody in charge really fucking loved that actress.
And it's not that she's bad as an actress.
No, she's got some real chops on her at times.
I do want to say, I think particularly something that's really stood out watching so much of Clara's episodes back-to-back is there is something really interesting in her dynamic as it's portrayed with the Doctor that I wish could have been its own thing more without having to be about the grandest of stakes all the time. Which is the way that the two of them will push back against each other.
Yeah.
In a way that really doesn't exist with any of the other companions. And, like, for all the times that I get frustrated with, like, her throwing a strop because the Doctor made her make one decision for humanity and wouldn't do it for her, and, you know, things like that, there are equally moments where she will go, "No, Doctor, I'm calling your bullshit out. I'm recognizing the thing you're doing. You expect your companions to roll over and accept this stuff. I'm acknowledging what you're doing, and I'm not going to stand for it." And I think there's room for an interesting dynamic there that, you know, just kind of gets muddied in with Clara's the most important forever.
Yes.
There's some great episodes this season. They've just been really mixed in with annoyance.
It just stands to my point that I've made a few times before, that Capaldi and Whittaker are amazing actors who just had terrible fucking writing.
I would be so okay with us getting, like, if we hadn't had that tease of Billy Piper coming, if we've regenerated back into a Capaldi or a Whittaker, I'd have been infinitely okay with that. I would have loved to have seen either of them with some different writers.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jodie's now we're doing, like, a Big Finish series.
Yeah.
Booked for, like, I think it's something like 13 fucking stories, so there is a lot of 14th Doctor coming if people are interested. 13th Doctor coming if people are interested.
Hooray.
I believe, like, the first one, maybe two of those are out already.
Yeah.
And have had good reviews if you want more Jodie stories.
Well, that's everything I've watched this week, I think.
Have you listened to anything this week?
I don't think so. What about you?
I was infected by something yesterday.
Yeah,
now I'm going to inflict it on everybody.
What were you infected by?
I was watching a TikTok.
Yeah?
That was like, remember this? Do you remember Rub Some Bacon on it?
No.
Oh. Okay, audience. Well, 13 years ago, the Reddit song Rub Some Bacon on It existed. This is by Rhett and Link's Wonderhole. Do you remember Rhett and Link?
Oh, I remember Rhett and Link, but I never paid enough attention to them to know what this is.
Rub Some Bacon on It was just, because it's got so many fucking Reddit references in it. The time when everybody thought bacon was just the funniest thing in the fucking world.
You're saying 13 years ago this would have been right around epic meal time.
That's something I've never encountered. I have heard of it, but I've never...
Oh, whatever. Anytime they made a meal, it was always bacon. You put more bacon in it. Bacon's funny. Put bacon in it.
Yeah, so, everyone now has to think about that because I've reminded it again.
Well,
sorry, everyone. I've passed the curse on. It was passed to me.
Well, I'm sure you will infect me with it before the day is done. And it'll either infect me or I'll go, this sure feels dated to a time.
Well, you know, when there's a what time does the narwhal bacon's at midnight reference, you will. It's right up there with I Like Your Shoelaces.
Thanks. I stole it for the president.
So that's everything that we watched or listened to.
Well then, time for this.
Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi. Oh, we gotta get creative today.
Oh, man.
I know, thinking is terrible. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, no, I think that should be banned.
Just generally.
Yeah, I mean, they've tariffed everything else. Why can't we tariff thinking?
Yeah, so I should probably explain what's going on.
Right.
You know how we, a little while ago, we made it, we're working on a game, and we took a couple of the most popular classes out of it to sell as DLC, right? Yeah,
which was genius.
Yeah, genius.
Fucking genius.
the fools that are the consumers
Yeah.
did not agree.
Yeah, we took the two most popular classes from the previous game, and we made them DLC.
Yeah, enough people canceled their pre-orders.
Wow.
That,
Wow. Have we not done everything for them?
That's what I thought, but apparently not. So,
Wow.
they have forced our hand, and we're putting them back in the main game. But that does mean we now have to think of something else to make DLC, ideally without doing any more work.
How about, like, an area? You can't go into this part of the game if you don't buy the DLC.
I see. What about
a nightclub with the terrible dancing?
Yeah, and we put it so it's visible, so you can see,
Yeah.
like, oh, you could be having such
You can see it, but,
cringy
like,
fun in there.
Yeah, we'll have, like, a whole thing where, like, the bouncer's like, I can't let you in. You don't look like you have the DLC.
Yeah, the disco liability clause that lets you come inside the disco. Yeah, disco liability clause. That'll do. And there'll be a fun, like, nod and wink. It's like, oh, you don't have the DLC.
No shirt,
wink.
no shoes, no disco liability clause.
Yeah, wink. Actually, I think you're a fucking genius.
I know.
Oh, thank goodness, it's finally below 23 degrees again. What was that? Soup. 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 It's soup time. It's soup season again.
Are we allowed soup now?
Oh, yes, because before it would have been too hot to soup. It would have been foolish to soup.
Yeah, you don't
can't soup at 25 degrees. That's too much. That's too hot for soup.
I mean, I hear rumors of gazpacho, but I think that's a myth.
Not until November the 25th. Anyway, soup!
Soup!
Soup! It's soup time. Time for soup season. Warm, nourishing, sticks to your ribs. Num num, tasty soup. You can feel warm and cozy and snug from the inside with soup.
That's superb.
I'm off to roast a butternut squash.
Yeah.
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Racial Justice Warriors.
Racial Justice Warriors?
Yeah.
Alright, Larry.
Alright, Barry. How are you doing?
Oh, a little bit tight in the throat, mate. How you doing?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing alright.
You been up to much?
I've been following some discourse, doing the rounds on me socials.
Yeah, discourse.
Yeah, so I don't know if this has made any of your feeds, but I follow a lot of disability content, and this has come up a bit. It's, discussions around the idea of the disability hierarchy.
I've heard the term going around recently, but I haven't actually encountered the source of all of this.
Okay, so here is, like, the basis, is that there are 2 points that I think can simultaneously exist, but that there are 2 sides basically kind of going, no, only one of these can be true. We can acknowledge and recognise that there are people whose disabilities more negatively impact their ability to live day-to-day life than other people's.
Yeah.
There are different disabilities that will have more of a direct impact on day-to-day living, and disabilities can have degrees of impact where, between 2 people with a condition, one might be more impacted by that condition than another.
Well, yeah, you know,
we can acknowledge that this is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, many conditions are a spectrum, and then you've got, like, the difference between, like, ambulatory wheelchairs and non-ambulatory wheelchair users and stuff like that.
Yeah. So,
sorry, did I say ambulatory wheelchairs? I think I did. Yeah, there's the difference between ambulatory wheelchair users and non-ambulatory wheelchair users.
Exactly. And it's fair to acknowledge someone who is a non-ambulatory wheelchair user is probably more impacted in some circumstances by their disability than an ambulatory user who has certain options available to them that the other wheelchair user doesn't.
People having different needs and such.
Exactly. However, there is a separate conversation that's been going on, and I think this can simultaneously be true, which is the idea that there can be a propensity sometimes to engage in the concept of disability hierarchy, like it is
is this like Disability Olympics, where people are comparing, I'm more disabled than you because blah.
Yeah, and specifically, and I get where this comes from,
it can sometimes be frustrating to try and advocate for your own needs as a disabled person, to then have someone else come in and go, well, my disability is worse. Either to go, you're not allowed to be upset about your disability, or to go, why are you asking for support? You don't have it as bad as me. And, like,
I feel like capitalism has done something to people.
Exactly. Because, like, look, we can acknowledge sometimes it is necessary to have a degree of ranking of degrees of need within the disabled community. If you go to an airport and there is, they have 6 wheelchairs available for use, there will be people for whom those are a requirement, and for whom those would be very, very useful, but can be managed without.
Yeah.
And that, in some circumstances, we do have to rank degrees of need for access requirements.
Yeah.
But we can also acknowledge there can be a tendency to go, your disability is less deserving of support because you are, quote, less disabled than me.
Yeah.
And I think this is definitely something we see in certain segments of the disabled community more than others. Some of the discourse that's been doing the rounds here has devolved into things like, oh, is it more difficult or less difficult to be a visible or invisibly disabled person? To which I would say, both have their ups and their downs. Both have, you can talk about, like, visibly disabled people cannot opt out of people knowing they are disabled.
True.
But,
in the day and age that we live in, potentially that is a threat to you, because, disabled people do get assaulted at an alarming rate.
Indeed. But we can also acknowledge, people whose disabilities are, I hesitate to say invisible disabilities, sometimes
Less visible.
Yeah, not always visible disabilities.
Yes.
They have the
people who might, say, have a disabled parking badge, park in a disabled bay, and then come back to find fucking rude notes on their car, or worse, just full-on assault from people going, well, you don't look disabled.
Exactly. And, I think there is room in that discussion for, people with less visible disabilities will sometimes be actively refused support they require because people cannot look at them and go, I see why you need this support.
Yeah.
And that does create additional barriers. I think both of those can be true without us going, well, which one of us has it worse? Because at the end of the day, this whole discourse back and forth in many ways feels like it is getting away from the important thing, which is we are all, as disabled people, we are all disabled, and fighting for things to be better for all disabled people, it's a rising tide that will raise all ships,
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know entirely, but I suspect this probably comes from the whole government trying to crack down on, disability cheats. I feel like I've been hearing some of this from America as well recently, and I'm obviously more familiar with the stuff here in the UK. But, hearing about, we've got to crack down on this and crack down on that and crack down on the other. How about we crack down on tax evasion, which costs us fucking billions, versus cracking down on disability benefit cheats, which is estimated at less than 13 million, I believe. It may be considerably less than that. But that is, I feel like that's a number I've heard very recently.
Indeed, it's, I can understand why people with certain disabilities are get very defensive about the idea of ranking degrees of disability, because many of them are in our positions where they are continually being forced to prove they're disabled enough to get access to the things they need.
You've got people with terminal conditions being told, every 6 months you've got to prove it, and if you don't demonstrate your disability in a way that we find acceptable, we will be removing your PIP and leaving you basically destitute.
Exactly. It's... I think that at the end of the day, all of the people involved in this discussion are just... We're all disabled people who should be, focusing on, to a degree, the systems that are fucking us all over, rather than...
But this is typical of capitalism, making, the people who have to live within the system fight amongst each other for scraps, while the people who are, at the top or, in positions of power, just, they can
hand scraps to us at will, or just decide to take it away, or just fucking hoard all the wealth.
Exactly. Stop looking at your fellow disabled people and going, we're fighting over resources, and go, system, give us more resources for all disabled people.
Absolutely, mate.
Let's go. Yeah.
Good on, mate. Good on. Right, I think I'll go and rest my voice a bit.
Oh, sounds good.
Nice.
So, Laura,
Yeah.
you do stuff on the internet.
Yeah,
Where
I
that
do.
stuff?
You can find the stuff that I do at Laura K Buzz pretty much everywhere on the internet. That's where I put stuff that I do. What stuff have I got at the moment? There is a Silksong accessibility video that went up a little bit ago. Dice Funk is happening at the moment. You can go check out Dice Funk.
It's real good.
The most recent season, I am the middle sibling of a bunch of dragon siblings.
Yep.
I sure am trying to do some dating at the moment.
You sure are doing the wildest fucking character sheet in the world.
I sure did make a warlock with 20 strength for reasons. That's a decision that got made. I am a punch warlock. It's a fun season. Go check it out. What about you? Where are you out in the internet?
I don't have much going on apart from the fact that I'm recording an audiobook of Who Hunts the Whale,
Yeah, you are.
which will be out when I've finished
Yeah.
and edited it. Because, gosh, that's going to take a while. The number of retakes on certain lines. Oh, boy.
Yep, welcome.
And I think editing other people's audio is a pain in the bum. Oh, this is going to be a thing. Anyway, it will be perfect by the time you pick up a copy. That's everything from me. Also, yes, patreon.com/stonedmonkeyradio, as little as $1 a month, helps this keep happening.
Ooh.
So, yeah, that's it for me. Laura, will you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.